Speaking of, by the way, did you made a test scene in Godot with these assets?
And then I
You weren't going to
restarted my
show that, were you?
computer. I can show it.
I mean, you could send them to me and I could show it, but it's going to take a while.
um, I before we move out of Blender stuff, let's stay focused on that for the moment, and then I'll see whether Godot opens
Okay.
up. And it was just a quick test. I had a bit of a field day with Godot earlier. I wasn't in the right frame of mind after deleting half my work. Um, it happens.
It does.
So there are other pieces as well. I've been experimenting with different wall and rock designs, and also ways of creating it. That is one of those things. It's like, well, do I place the bricks individually and rotate them around, or do a random operation, which sometimes can get you most of the way there? And to answer, was it Vertex's question earlier about how many ones we're going
Yeah.
to add? One of my goals, I'm not sure yet. This is just a random section. I'm not sure whether I'm going to include this in the course. So star asterisk there. This bit might not be in the course. It might actually balloon the course beyond its scope. But here is, sadly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 100 unique broken tile pieces. Obviously, the other size ones
Why did
aren't
you
done yet.
break them, Mikey?
Well. But one of the things I'll explore is certainly different wear levels on our floors as well, so that they're not all absolutely perfect. Now, it's quite
Sure.
likely that because of the extra work required to make a pack like this, that this will be part of the pay pack, but this one will be, obviously it won't look like that. They're just tiles I could pick up and move. But you'll get ones like this in the pack, and maybe a few broken tiles and things like that to scatter around. But one of the things I'm experimenting with in the background at the moment is using geometry nodes to assemble this, so that you can pretty much go click, 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 and have like 50 different room tiles if you wanted. So each one of those was unique. Obviously, things like that create a very bloated asset pack with very little differences. So that might be something I want to teach it, but I'm not sure how it fits in the scope of things. Because the moment you add something extra on top of everything else we're doing so far, you very quickly end up with a very, very big course when it was
Mhm.
supposed to be a really focused, narrow course on just the asset creation. Yes, baking is something I am going to be looking at. Those viewers that watched stream 2 3 weeks ago, I think, maybe even a month ago, we talked about using, was it Material Maker again?
Yep.
Yep. We discussed the option of using Material Maker. I've played with it. I think it's an absolutely wonderful tool, but using it doesn't fit our aesthetic. So one of the things I'm going to have a look at is the option of baking these as both obviously a normal map, which you can kind of do very quickly by switching your map cap to this, looking at the top and taking a picture, taking a render like that, and you've got them. But one of the things I wanted to look at is also exporting a height map as well as
Yep.
ambient occlusion and all the other things, because uh, we tried in Godot 4 and you can actually have a bit of parallax there as well. I'm not sure how that's going to look on the floor. If it looks good, we'll go through the baking process. And personally, I think that's going to be more valuable than diving back into geometry nodes. So
Yeah.
that's probably the way I'm leaning at the moment. So lots of pieces in the works, and this is like a behind the scenes what a file actually looks like when I'm being messy. When I start going through the process of tidying up and automating things, you'll see that these ones here I have started with naming. So all of these have the designation floor tiles. They're all in a collection called floor tiles, so they're easy to get to turn on and off, to work with, to delete if necessary. So one of the things that I wanted to show everybody was, if you, I don't know whether whether the YouTube compression is even going to show the little asterisk. So when you've modified a file, you get an asterisk up there. You save it, it disappears. You make a change, whether it's deleting something, the asterisk appears. So most of the time, if I went to go close this down, it'll say, "Oh, do you want to save your changes?" Okay. And now I have warned people in the past, when exporting, if you're exporting over the top of something that you've already got before, when you click export, it won't warn you that file already exists. It will just overwrite it. That's not fun at all. But it also turns out that exists in other places as well. So let's say I accidentally deleted half my stuff, which I did. I didn't knowingly
Mhm.
do it, but I did it. Pretty much ended up with a three planes down here and all my floor tiles. It's like, where's all the other stuff I've been working on? But if you go up here and you like recover and you go, oh, I recover the last session, it says, do you want to save? Great. But if you go to recover an autosave and you open up something else, it doesn't ask you to save. Boom, I just lost what I was working on.
Boom.
And this is our original asset packs, which is where everything's being derived from.
Yep.
So you can already see there's already a vast number of pieces more than we had before. I haven't started working on all of the detailed, intricate bits just at the moment. Getting Jan the base pieces so he can build up rooms was more,
Well, I need props to build up rooms as well.
yeah. But being able to do the maze generation that we're doing
Roderick
requires.
wants to know: are you sure it's a copy?
Yes. Look, there's two. How can I get it wrong? They're both named the same thing. And that one's in the right place. That one's there
Why
in
didn't
the
you
right
call
place.
one stream copy or something?
Because I like confusing myself. I'll see it like
Okay.
later and then open up that one and start working on it.
Deirdre says, "I feel your pain, Mike. You have rage quit over less." I mean, same.
How would you said I was this morning, Jan, when I called?
You look like you're in the final stages of grief.
I'd
You're
certainly
just about to hit acceptance.
uh,
Like,
it was really weird, right? So I'm not one to typically get angry, and I can get emotive and excited about things or passionate, but I very rarely get angry about anything. And I wasn't angry at all. It was a really weird feeling. It wasn't apathy either. I think acceptance is the perfect word. I was like,
resignation.
that
Like,
that is where I am right now. There's nothing I
yeah.
can do about it. And just as
Roderick
Jan
wants to
said,
know if the wall piece is 2 by 2. I don't think it is. I think it's
it's 20 by
20 by
7.
6. Yeah.
So that's one of the other things. So let's go back to the one that I was playing around with. Here we go.
I never
Aha!
get
You
angry
see,
either.
because it didn't save it, I didn't lose all those pieces that I deleted. So yeah, so this is one of the ways that you can approach modeling in general. So I could have this door piece in the middle. So it's a 20 by 20 meter piece. I could have this door piece be maybe 4 meters across with detailing, and then I could, if the pattern is regular enough, I could actually split this up into 2 meter sections and then just repeat those over and over again. And that works really well for surfaces that are similar. In my particular case, I've decided to, and for what we're doing, I've decided to approach it at whole room scale because those are the modular pieces that Jan is going to be using in the
Right.
course, rather than having individual modular pieces. But with all the asset packs, you will have access to the blend file as well, so you can pick it up and modify it how you like, which is really important for, as I say, for things like this. If you wanted it to be not as long, you can come in and adjust it, or you can use these pieces in geometry nodes and have magical fancy procedural generation within Blender.
Yeah. Or you could accidentally delete half of them and have to re-download it.
I was very, very lucky. I went. So Jan and I were talking earlier. So I realized that I was just adjusting stuff on screen without anybody seeing. This is what I mean. Hey, it can be hundreds of miles long. Off it goes. Whee! But anyway, what I ended up doing was going to recover and go into the autosaves, and one of these random ones with numbers on it happened to be
Yeah.
what I was looking for. Unfortunately, you can all. I mean, this doesn't help turning on this view because these are all of the camera in a different position. So that was no good for me to try and work out which one it was. I had to go through each one, and every one I was going through was either really, really old or just didn't have the stuff I wanted in it. But fortunately, the literally the last one I tried, it was like, ah, it's here.
Yep.
One
Just as I was asking him, I don't suppose the autosave feature caught it.
one thing I do want to show before we move on to Invodux is the following. Just let me move Blender around a little. Doo-doo.
Ooh.
So I'm just trying to fit this all on one screen. It's a bit challenging. So one of the things that Blender does do that you may or may not know is let's say I wanted this wall piece here. I can simply copy it from one Blender file and paste it in the other. Very, very quick and easy to do.
I didn't know
But
you could do that.
man, it saves a lot of time when you're trying to recover half data from one place and move it
Yeah,
over to the other. But yeah, that's my tip of the day. I should make that into a YouTube short.
you should.
It'd be like 3 seconds long.
I don't know. I'm very grumpy old man. Get off my lawn about this YouTube short business. I mean, Twitter was bad enough, and Snapchat just left me feeling very old and confused. Like this is software designed for people to make bad decisions. Um,
Yeah, I
but like, I don't want 3-second YouTube ones. I want 3-hour video essays about Deus Ex and how it's fine. Actual thing. H. Palmer guy, quite good.
it is very good. Good in-depth discussion on
Long.
one of the best games I think in gaming history.
Well, the original is amazing. In fact, there's a meme apparently every time you mention the original Deus Ex, somebody who's listening to you goes to install it.
I'm just going on to
Speaking of
my GOG Galaxy account now, and I'll download it. There we go.